If I ever get sponsored, I hope it's by Waffle House. I've given them lots of business over the years. I'm pretty picky about which Waffle Houses I go to. If I pull up to Waffle House at 2 a.m. and the cook ain't outside smoking a Newport 100, I ain't going in. If I pull up to Waffle House at 2 a.m. and I don't see at least 3 teeth missing, I ain't going in. If I pull up to Waffle House at 2 a.m. and the health inspection reads 100, I ain't going in. That's right, I prefer the gas leak. As soon as I get there, I got a checklist of things I've got to ask. How many of your employees have pending warrants? How often do your customers attempt to pay with food stamps? You guys even own a wet floor sign? How long has it been since someone's pulled a gun in here? Waffle House is the equivalent to Jacksonville, Florida. Waffle House, the only place to get a quality meal while also watching crackheads go TikTok viral for your entertainment. Every time I walk into that place, I think of Chef Boy RD, because Chef Boy RD's manager's fucking y'all on dental. Waffle House is a great place to pick up chicks after the bar. In fact, it's actually scientifically proven women prefer waffles to pancakes because waffles have deep pockets, unlike their bum-ass boyfriends. Which unfortunately includes me. All I got for you is deep depression and syphilis. Anyway, sponsor me, Waffle House. I think I'll be a great addition to your team. And if not, I'll just go there to IHOP. I mean, I got a buddy who's an amputee. Thinking about coming to Georgia? Don't. Just wait till you come visit North Georgia, aka Meth Mountain. I give the tweakers up their credit. They're in great shape, man. I ran into one, he was hiking the Appalachian Trail. It was pretty cool. I felt inspired. I was like, so what's the cause, man? Trying to get sober, trying to bring awareness to substance abuse? He was like, nah, man, I got better shit in West Virginia. He had his buddy from Alabama with him. He kept screaming, whoa, Tide. I got confused for a second. I was like, nah, it's Roe versus Wade. In the South, if you hit the ditch, it's quite simple. You just toss your beer can and pull right on out. You hit the ditch in North Georgia, you liable to be 3 counties over before you hit the bottom. I really hate the fact that people up there drive like we ain't hanging off the side of a fucking cliff. You're about one glance text away from starring in a Dukes of Hazzard spinoff that gets canceled after the first scene. What y'all know about Albany, Georgia? I went to Albany, Georgia the other day. I was asking for directions. The man told me back the way I came. I was walking through there the other day, turned my head for like 10 seconds. Someone done ran up and stole my legs. Had me sitting out there on cinder blocks. My car battery died outside of a Comic-Con in Albany, Georgia one time. I asked somebody if they'd jump me, and next thing I knew, I was getting the shit beat out of me by 7 Power Rangers. Everybody down here don't agree on everything, but if there's one thing we all agree on, nobody speeds through Poland, Georgia. Don't even get me started on coastal Georgia, man. What the hell happened to y'all's water? I went swimming in Jekyll Island back in July, and now the doctors tell me that I got whatever killed Eazy-E. I used to love Jekyll Island too, back before they turned it to a resort and kicked out all the alcoholics. We got Tifton, Georgia. Tifton's slogan is the friendly city, which is quite ironic being as that town has one of the worst crime rates in all of America. But then the other day, I saw a crackhead robbing the Waffle House, and he had a smile on his face the whole time, and I was just thinking, at least he's nice about it. And maybe that's what the slogan means. Maybe it's a morale thing. Tifton is like Meg from Family Guy. Nobody really gives a shit, but unfortunately she is part of the family. Come to Douglas, or as I like to call it, the desert city, because no matter which route you take, it takes so long driving through nothingness and dead zones to get there that when you finally reach it, you're confused on whether or not you hallucinated it. I like to call Douglas the place that Tyreek Hill went in high school at, because, that's pretty much all they're known for, other than, also being the place that I flunked out of college. I don't have to talk about Valdosta, Georgia. All you gotta do is just turn on the news. Valdosta talks about itself. So again, if you're thinking about coming to Georgia, don't. Especially if you're from Florida. I think there should be a law set in place that every time a Florida resident leaves the state, they have to retake their driver's test at the border. The driver instructor that gave you those licenses sat in the passenger seat playing Candy Crush the entire time. But no, seriously, virginity to a sock, and now I have a foot fetish. Anyways, I was at Walmart the other day. I was in there looking for a book on how to cure dyslexia, only I couldn't find it because I got dyslexia. And then I heard it, like a fart in the wind. Sir, may I help you? I turned around and there she was, Sam, Employee of the Month the past 3 years running. I've seen this woman ring up groceries so fast the scanner melted. She just calculated the rest of the shit in her head. When they get new self-checkout machines, she trains them. Sam's never double-bagged anything in her life. Instead, she uses the power of Jesus to keep them strong in flexible times. I once saw this woman jump-start a car with her bare hands, which is even crazier once you consider the fact there wasn't even an engine in it. This one time, this addict was trying to take the store hostage because they ran out of keyboard duster. Sam morphed into a cop, shot him dead, then morphed into a paramedic and brought him back to life. Scared him straight too. The guy was sober after that. I give Sam a lot of credit for that, you know what I mean? That guy went on to be Robert Downey Jr. Anyway, Sam sat there and read that whole book to me, cover to cover. And now I no longer have dyslexia or erectile dysfunction. After that, I felt like I could trust Sam, so I made her my therapist. Sam even invited me to her club, Sam's Club. She built this store from the ground up with her bare hands, using nothing more but double D 47.2 million zip ties and a crescent wrench. I told her I'd be going to check that place out soon. Thanks. My T-Rexes were so mad they had such little arms and couldn't play with themselves in the shower. I was actually the T-Rex's mate. Seems rather difficult to do doggy style without any arms. Like, how do you headstand like one of those hood breakdancing competitions? Yeah, what you gonna do with it, huh? I'm about to end your whole career. Maybe they just have to do it cowgirl, you know, because I mean, that makes the most sense for them to squat, you know, because there's one thing T-Rexes did not do back in the day, it's miss leg day. Back in the day in the T-Rex community, that's how they were actually able to tell like which ones got around the most, you know, by the size of their quads. Nowadays, if you want to know, you got to go through a whole bunch of hoops, man. You got to do shit like, you know, excuse yourself from the dinner table to go to her bathroom so you can, you know, rumble through a fucking medicine cabinet for 20 minutes while the sink's running. Like, nobody's got time for that shit, girl. Show me your quads. They say T-Rexes are related to chickens, which brings up my next point. Do T-Rexes lay eggs even when they aren't fertilized? Is that why they're trying to bring dinosaurs back because of the egg shortage in America? Do you imagine how much a fucking case of those would cost? Eggland's Best about to have a damn field day out here. Why in the hell y'all ain't tell me I had a booger hanging on my nose this whole time? I'd hate to work at Pilgrim's though, you know, especially the slaughterhouse. A manager just walks in like, so, gonna do things a little different today. You got poor Tom standing over here with his little 3-inch blade, you know, he's been working here for like 45 years. He's 3 weeks away from retirement. He's like, is this a good enough blade? It's, nah, Tom, not hardly. Traditional method that we've been using isn't gonna quite work on this one, okay? We're just gonna shoot it, like a lot. Somebody please put that days out of accident sign back to 0. Let's not get ahead of our things guys do but won't admit to it. Peeing in the shower. Leaving fingernail clippings on the floor for you to sweep up later. Leaving facial hair in the sink for you to clean up later. Walking away from a urinal before we're completely zipped up and running the risk of indecent exposure charges. Wiping snot on our sleeves. Scratching our balls and then smelling our hand. Picking our nose. Peeing in a bottle on a long road trip then forgetting about it till about 6 months later once it gets old and starts looking like an old water bottle mixed with vitamin C packets. Pretending we know everything and when proven wrong denying we ever said it. Daydreaming about unrealistic scenarios that will never happen. Forgetting to put the toilet seat back down, which that one actually doesn't apply to me. I'm a gentleman. I leave the toilet seat down so I can piss on the lid. Doing things that majorly affect the male life expectancy. Trashing music that we all secretly listen to when the boys ain't around. Going to the bathroom and not washing our hands after because we didn't touch anything. We love being the little spoon. We stop at red lights and try and guess the snap count like some NFL linebackers. We become best friends with people before we even know their names. We just go to a party and say something out loud and someone there is going to be like, holy shit, I agree with that guy. What are you drinking? Smelling our armpits. Meeting a new girl and then planning your entire life with her, which kind of ties back into daydreaming unrealistic scenarios. Farting and enjoying the smell. Dancing when no one's around. If there's any more, let me know. I'll make a part 2. Oh, and if you're wondering why I'm not so high energy today, it's because, you know, I'm sick as fuck. You know, I feel like shit and I wasn't going to do any videos, but you know, I decided why not, you know, pull one out of my ass. So, town with Uncle Jerry the other day, we was looking to get food. We stopped there at Little Caesars, you know, $5 hot and ready. Man, that shit tasted cold and stale and made it 12. That shit tastes like Great Depression and tomato dressing. That bitch sold me a display pizza. They need to change their name to Little Caesar because it looked like my fucking pizza kept trying to swallow its tongue. I wanted a pizza, not a piece of shit. Uncle Jerry was over there like, man, this pizza tastes like cardboard. And I was like, Jerry, that's because you're eating the box, man. Keep telling this man not to eat mushrooms on an empty stomach. It don't mix well with the Zoloft. Face gets all flustered and shit, you know, he starts looking like he went face first down a metal slide in August. Little Caesars, do I look like a bitch to you? It's supposed to be a damn family place. Pizza fucking choking hazard. Don't nothing bring your family together quite like spooning, and by spooning I mean the fucking Heimlich maneuver in the parking lot. Wait till I get rich, I'll buy that place, turn it to a sweatshop for your grandkids. I'd rather eat gas station sushi in Kansas. I know you're probably wondering, Bryce changed clothes? No, I didn't. This is a completely different day. I thought of more shit to say. I'll never eat there again unless y'all sponsor me, then I'll take back everything I just said. And it's cold as shit out here too, boys. I'm going inside. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. If y'all didn't, these days are kind of like shoes, expensive and laced. Anyways, I got a question. Where does Mario get his mushrooms from? I'm asking for a friend. It's just when Mario eats mushrooms, he grows taller, but whenever I do, I always end up making love to one of the cows out in the pasture. I don't think I'm doing it right. I still remember the first time I got invited to go hunt mushrooms. I didn't know no better. I thought we was going to Kroger or some shit. Nobody informed me that we were going to a field to dig through cow shit, okay? That wasn't in the brochure. I know, I read it 3 times. I brought my girlfriend of the time with me, you know, all she could do, but she just bitching the whole time about her damn diet. Is this gonna ruin my diet? Like, bitch weighed like 300 pounds. What fucking diet? Diet exercise? Oh, yeah, she didn't think it was funny as I did. I was like, hey man, just out of curiosity, what happens if you eat the wrong one? He's like, well, you can get really sick and die. What the fuck? Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Let's go home and play mushroom roulette. That's why I need to talk to Mario. I need someone a little more qualified. Now, I like Danny. I do. But he accidentally put brake fluid in his gas tank, and we can't be making those kind of mistakes out here. If that's who we got making all the executive decisions out here, then you can call me Tom Brady, because I'm passing this one. I give Danny credit, though. He does have the best brakes in Berrien County now. What a damn truck ain't moved an inch. His girlfriend reminds me a lot of Forrest and Jenny. She was a hoe, and I was a dumbass. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I get madder than hell every time I watch Forrest Gump. Forrest would have did anything for Jenny. What'd Jenny do for Forrest? Nothing. She was out in these streets throwing that ass like a hot potato 7 ways to Sunday. That bitch was built like a racetrack. If you was on it, you got to turn. She's sold so much ass the IRS had to bump her up a tax bracket. And folks was being loyal the whole time. Even when Lieutenant Dan tried to hook him up with that tramp on New Year's. Y'all remember that scene? Yeah. He wouldn't even take that ass, and that was a pretty decent looking woman, if I would say so myself, after like a few drinks. Oh, but Bryce, look how she was raised. Look how she was brought up. Watch them. I don't give a shit. What? I don't give a damn, all right? They don't give you a right to pick on the special kid. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. He might not be smart, but at least he knows what love is. Then she goes and gets sick from all that fucking. She gets pregnant with his baby. She don't even tell this man shit. He just goes on living his life until one day she invites him over. She's like, hey, Forrest, I got AIDS. I'm about to die. Here's your 5-year-old son. He really likes cartoons. Y'all enjoy. Like, what the fuck? Roll credits. Academy Awards. What the fuck just happened? Netflix said this was a comedy, not a biography on couples from West Town and see a squatted truck blasting that hippity-hoppity. It's usually a kid who don't own property, so I'm finding it rather difficult to address you properly. If you drive a squatted truck, there's a 47% chance you smoke elf bars and date a blonde to whom you're verbally abusive to. You're also at a higher risk of drinking energy drinks and punching holes in things that were intended for privacy. These are the ones that claim to pay bills but stutter when you ask how much their truck payment is. They gave Granny a ride to the store the other day and she blew out her hips on the dismount. You can find them in your local Piggly Wiggly parking lot. That's where they all like to meet up and rev their engines and perform reach-arounds while they blast NBA Youngboy music. Some people even believe squatted trucks are country. That's a load of bullshit right there. You want to meet a country boy, come meet my friend JD. He drives an S10. After a fifth of Jack, you don't have to worry about JD hitting the ditch. JD uses the ditch as a ramp to jump the barbed wire fence so he can do donuts in the cornfield. Squatted truck can never, okay? Never. And I'm just, I'm sure with the right amount of liquor it's possible, but in an effort to extend an olive branch, I will say this. There's this negative misconception about squatted trucks in that it means they're overcompensating for something, when in reality, squatting is just a representation of how they pee. And knowing is half the battle. I'm sure they'll be happy that I cleared that up with y'all, because nobody likes a stereotype. That's not cool, not funny, I got you. I think superheroes didn't exist until I met Narcan Man. Narcan Man likes to run around Section 8 with nasal spray, but he sticks it up their ass because apparently it works faster that way, but he's also a registered offender, so I should probably look into that. The way he tells it, he was at a party and he slipped, he fell, flew Spirit Airlines to Oregon and landed on a 16-year-old girl. Now, nobody argues with him because, if you piss him off, he won't bring you back. He'll just shit in your toilet, then sit you on the toilet, to make you like you were the one shitting in the toilet. He's petty like that. And the dude saves lives, as long as it ain't within 1,000 feet of a school. I've seen this guy fly house to house like some sort of Suboxone Santa Claus, okay? Which is funny if you think about it because he can defy the laws of gravity, but not Megan. Honestly, that right there would be a violation. And I don't know if y'all know this or not, man. Narcan Man wouldn't do very well in jail, He's got a small waistline. He's the reason most of them are in there because after he wakes them up, he lies and says their court date got changed so they'll miss it because, at the end of the day, you gotta learn a valuable lesson, Good on Narcan Man. That's what Wolverine should be doing instead of shish kebabbing everyone like we're at a fucking Mediterranean restaurant. The point I'm trying to make is not all heroes wear capes. Some of them have to go door to door whenever they move, and I'm willing to admit right now this joke is becoming more fucked by the second. I truly believe Narcan Man is on the right path, one ass at a time. I call it his rectal redemption. Usher for helping a lot of married men get lucky the other night, After that performance, my old lady wasn't bloated for the first time in weeks. That dude's like a big-ass bottle of Pepto-Bismol or some shit. Well, the Super Bowl's over, and now I don't have to see Taylor Swift for another 6 months. I say things are on the up and up for me. I've never understood overly obsessive football fans, loyal to a group of grown men who play with balls, but not to the woman that plays with theirs. Bitching about the defense not putting pressure on the quarterback, but all you know is missionary position. I'm concerned that you're worried about the wrong sack, bro. You can tell a lot about a man when his team loses, particularly if he's abusive or not. Your son just watched you smash your flat screen with a baseball bat, and then you sit there and wonder why he tries to forge your name on his school report card. And if you are the type to break a TV, I can 100% guarantee that you like to cuss out umpires and get kicked out of your kids' rec games. Don't worry though, it's 2024, you're likely to get a participation trophy for it. My son won't ever have to worry about me doing him like that, mostly because I'll be getting high out in the parking lot. But I'll have the window cracked and shit so I can hear the announcer. I know I'll probably get judged by Kevin's mom like she didn't just pop a Xanax in her Circle K big gulp, but it'll be alright. Besides, I sold her son $1,000 before the game. He was out there in the outfield counting the grass and shit. Well, Uncle Jerry all the time bitches about the refs whenever his team loses, but he ain't talked to his kids in years. Who's the one really missing the calls here? However, I do give you credit for staying loyal to your team. If there's one thing I hate more, it's bandwagon fans. Always jumping to the greener grass like white suburban moms. If you like the video, make sure to give it a share. If you don't like the video, fuck off. Thank you. Have a guy named Tommy who's an alcoholic, and he's always got the audacity to sit there and call me a pothead and, and criticize me for smoking. It's not the same thing, all right? If you smoke and drive, you do things like hold up traffic because you're going 43 in a 65. Slowing down at a red light only to realize it's green. Finding yourself in a Taco Bell drive-thru and not remembering how you got there. If you drink and drive, you do things like back up traffic because you caused an accident, fled the scene. Running a green light only to realize it was a stop sign. Realizing the next morning that speed bump may have been a hooker. Finding yourself crashed into the side of a Taco Bell, not remembering how you got there. It's not the same. Tommy once joined Alcoholics Anonymous because he thought it was a dating site and he wasn't doing good on Christian Mingle. Nothing against those people over there. It's just 90% of them never seen Harry Potter, and it's a little weird. Tommy's so desperate to get lucky that he goes to the bar and roofies himself, which is a funny little segue because I actually got roofied at a bar one time. I was at a bar and I seen this guy. He was acting real shady to this group of girls, so after a few minutes I walked. I'm just fucking with y'all. That shit never happened. I may smoke a little from time to time, but I like to see myself as somewhat of an influencer. You know what I mean? Tommy's only influential when he's driving under it. I like hanging out with Tommy. It's just every time we go out, either it's the best night of my life or we all go to jail. And I'm just saying, can we meet somewhere in the middle? If Jimmy Eat World could do it, then why not Tommy drink liquor? Tommy's such an alcoholic that you can get secondhand drunk from smelling his breath. Tommy blew into a breathalyzer once and gave it liver disease. Tommy stopped going to church because he found out that the wine was actually grape juice. Tommy's idea of cutting back on alcohol was stabbing someone when they tried to take his beer. I honestly thought when the whole, ordeal came out about Bud Light that would be it, that he would quit. That was a nail in the coffin, but nope, it's like, he still drinks that shit, and after a six-pack, he starts looking at me funny. I don't know what the fucking feel. It goes both ways, and he's single. Yeah, he's bi, all right, by his fucking self. I once dated a mute, and every time we made love, she just stared at me like a foreigner who couldn't speak English. I like dating women with daddy issues. That way I never have to meet the dad. It's just when we meet their dads, we always say the same bullshit lines, Oh, we're not gonna break her heart. We aren't gonna hurt her. Why don't we just tell them the truth? Hey, Mr. Jones, nice to meet you. I'm just here to let you know I'm gonna manipulate your daughter into mental damage beyond repair, all while giving her mediocre sex to keep her interested. Anyway, that patio set out there, that's real nice. Where'd you get that? Hell, this one girl I dated claimed to be pro-life, but she swallowed so many babies that every time she opened her mouth, you can hear a kids choir singing All-Star by Smash Mouth. Is it hard dating someone who's cockeyed? Well, depends how you look at it. Dating these days is like a game of the carnival. The shit's rigged, you lose a lot of money, and when you finally do win something, you could have got it somewhere else a lot cheaper. Dating for me is a little different. You see, I'm 27 now, which means I'm the equivalent of a Georgia State patrolman in the sense of, before we start talking, I'm going to need to see some form of identification. I was once talking to this one girl. I remember she told me not to ghost her, and I told her, I said, no, I ain't gonna ghost you. I really like you, Never heard from her again. She disappeared faster than the poking feature on Facebook. At some point, I'll blame myself. Not today. Truth be told, I don't even know how I started dating. I just went to bed one night, ooh, cooties, and I woke up the next morning like, damn, I need... Self-checkout lines are like the border. You stand in line for hours only to be told it's card only. Whenever I check out at Walmart, it's like I'm on the phone with customer service. I'm constantly asking for a real person. If I ever get arrested for theft at a self-checkout machine, I'm just going to take it to court and claim I wasn't trained properly. What bothers me is how they make the bags smaller so you can't bag the bigger items, and they use it as an excuse to check the receipt at the door. It used to be their job to do their job. Now it's their job to make sure you do their job, and if you don't do their job, then it's their job to still do nothing, and these people are pushing for $15 an hour. To be fair though, this has nothing to do with the employees. It's not their fault they lost their position to a robot who only got the job because he's cousins with a Terminator. I seen a Facebook post the other day where it was like, you remember when you used to be able to buy lobster and ARs at Walmart? Like, this used to be a country, man, and I couldn't agree with that shit more, man. I can't buy a gun or abuse my EBT. Whatever happened to being open 24/7? Whatever happened to being able to buy your duster cans in private? Self-checkout really isn't that bad. It's just kind of annoying at times. Like whenever it tells you that you need employee assistance, but the assistant is busy out smoking a Marlboro Red in the parking lot like we're at a fucking Waffle House. A bug of salt, it's like this little weapon you use to load it with salt, use it to shoot flies and insects. Well, I bought one the other day, and I might have accidentally on purpose loaded it with Uncle Jerry's crack rock. I can't explain the feeling of getting cursed out by your drug-addicted uncle, all while a bunch of keyed-up house flies sit over on the dining room table taking turns seeing who could bench press the most Duck Dynasty coasters. But it's a pretty weird feeling. This is exactly why people think white people can't cook right here. We're over here shooting bugs with flavor enhancers. They invented the bug of salt, and high blood pressure dropped 23% in the United States. Well, what's better than salt? I don't know, fucking dirt maybe? My grandpa used to kill flies with his bare hands back in the day. Sometimes he sees their faces in his dreams. He don't talk about it too much. This thing is deadly accurate, though. I gotta give it props on that. You can shoot the pecker off a hummingbird with this thing. The other day, I was in the kitchen. I was dropping flies like zeros during World War II, man. They were trying to kamikaze dive into the potato salad and shit. You need one of these things, man, especially if you live in the backwoods of South Georgia, because winter don't affect him anymore. I seen a horsefly the other day. He had on a Carhartt and a thermos. He looked like he was on his way to go fix a roof. Do that thing where they try and act innocent like we ain't all go to high school together. Bitch used to get passed around like the neighborhood basketball, weathered and worn, yet we all still played with it, and regardless of who took it home that night, we always knew it'd be back in the street the next day. I remember this one time back in high school, this girl cheated on her man for a laptop. Not only did that guy lie about having a laptop, but it turns out they were related. So the whole time she was looking for internet connection, and all she got was an inheritant erection. Kind of felt bad for the girl, you know? I mean, these days you gotta phone it in with 5 white guys just to afford home Verizon wireless Wi-Fi. And then one day, 3 babies, 4 baby daddies later, they come to Facebook to ask the question, where are all the good men at? Like, what you mean? You didn't find any of her on OnlyFans? I would have never guessed it. And I know what you're thinking. How does she have 4 baby daddies and only 3 babies? Well, it's because she doesn't know who the daddy of one of them is. Word of advice, before running a train, always remember that a good conductor never forgets the names of their passengers. I remember I told this one girl, I was like, you need Jesus. And she was like, oh my God, I love Mexicans. Like, oh my fucking this bitch. Dating a girl that peaked in high school is like buying a game 6 years too late. You want to brag about it to your friends, but they've already played it and couldn't be any less interested. Congratulations, you just bought a game past its prime, and now all you can do is sit around and bitch about how the graphics aren't as good as this work buddy named Justin. Justin's a fitting name for him, being as he did just enough to not get fired. Justin used to remind me of a blister. He'd only show up after the work was done. Justin used to work at Advanced Auto Parts, but he got fired after they caught him out in the parking lot hitting lines off of a Keith Whitley Greatest Hits CD. Justin's actually a recovering addict, which I mean, I'm proud of him, don't get me wrong. It's just, he's one of those that has to remind you about it like every 5 seconds. It blows my mind. Like the other day, I tried to take him to town, and like every other street corner, I almost got shot in that house. I did drugs in that house. I robbed. Nobody gives a fuck, Justin. Justin's always walking around with a corn cob stuck up his ass because when he was little, his dad let a spider bite him in hopes of becoming Spider-Man, and instead he turned to Uncle Ben. So, you know, now he's got all this pent-up aggression because his daddy was a dumbass. Justin used to like to go out to the bar on the weekend, and I didn't really too much care for it. Neither one of us are really drinkers, you know? The problem, however, is the fact that I got chronic anxiety, so after 3 drinks, he's a raging alcoholic ready to fuck shit up, and I'm just a normal person now. I mean, dude's got a drywall hole with his name on it. It likes to take all that aggression and anger out whenever he takes his kids tubing at the lake, you know? I was out there last weekend, he threw one of his kids. Hell, I thought someone was out there skipping rocks. Had a double take, sure enough, little Jimmy out there going across the water. Sometimes Justin gets upset because he can't leave work early, despite the fact that it's only 9:45 in the morning. Regardless, we all got a work buddy named the day after the purge. I'll show you. All right, man, let me finish up this last little bit here. I'll holler at the boss real quick and we'll head on out. That's not even necessary, bro. I took him out. What, like, on a date? What? No. I was about to say, you know it's 2024. It's perfectly fine for a man and another man. No, bitch, I took him out. Like, out. Deceased. You took out our boss, man. Oh, yeah, man. Who's gonna sign our paycheck? Oh, shit, I didn't even think about that. I mean, we could forge it. Well, no, that's illegal again. We'll have to wait till next year. You got enough money to hold you over? We're farmhands, Tom. I've been living off of fucking cigarettes and Monster Energy drinks for the past 2 years. Look, I know what you're thinking. I can feel the judgment coming off of you, but hey, hear me out. Had I not been asking for that raise, had I not, of all the things that you could have did, well, what did you do that was so cool? I took a shit on the White House lawn smoking a joint. Oh, yeah, that's actually pretty badass. You're a real dumbass, you know that? Bro, calm down. It'll be all right? It'll sort of... Look, man, stop doing that eye twitchy thing, man. See, you're still doing it. I hate you. It'd be all right, man. We'll just go get, other jobs or something. Can't get a job anywhere, dude. I got warrants out on me all over the place. Well, I mean, you didn't have warrants yesterday. You could look for a job then. Stone Cold Steve Austin let me down as a kid. As a kid, I watched this dude slam beers and whip ass for years, and I told myself every day, I said, man, I'm going to grow up to be just like that, and next thing I knew, I was getting my ass beat and thrown in jail. Do you know what they do to scrawny people like me in jail? They'll take 2 of us and they rub us together like sticks until the fucking friction causes a small fire that they use to light their doobies and their hand-rolled cigarettes. I couldn't stand it in there, man. I hated jail just about as much as I hate trafficking in the United States, which is exactly why I blew up that fucking white van outside of Walmart that turned out to be a Sunday school bus. Don't worry though, nobody got harmed as long as you pretend it never happened. Stone Cold's still my hero though. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's a lot worse out there. My best friend, his favorite wrestler growing up was The Rock, and he's a crackhead now. My other buddy, he was a big John Cena fan, which is obvious because when he found out he was going to be a dad, we ain't seen him since. If you think about it, you can actually tell a lot about a man by his favorite wrestler growing up. A lot of people don't really care for wrestling, they don't like it because it's fake, which is, kind of funny, if you really think about it, You hate wrestling because it's fake, but not your personality. Seriously though, some of y'all, all you need to do is learn how to do a drop kick. I bought this handgun down there at the flea market, but it don't shoot all that well. And at first I thought it might have been broken, but it turns out it's just got glaucoma. Get it? Glaucoma? Glaucoma? Anyways, turns out he's eligible for medicinal marijuana, and he's been out here burning that shit like a wild Indian. It was all cool and shit at first, however, it's starting to become a problem. For instance, the other night I wake up out of my sleep. Someone's breaking in my house. I can hear it. Usually I'd be scared, but not today. Oh man, I'm pumped up, man. I'm thinking of all the badass shit I can say after I blast this fool, even though I know I'm gonna mess it up. Bang! I don't normally shoot a man, but when I do, what was that last part again? I'm sorry. It's my first time. I'm nervous. Don't go to the light yet. I can think of something. I grabbed my piece. I'm like, man, you ready to do this shit? My gun was all like, shit, you trying to smoke first? I'm like, are you serious, bro? There's someone breaking in the house, man. I need you now. It helps with my anxiety, man. You know how my anxiety gets, man. Lord, I'm about to get killed in my own home. I tried to put the clip in, but like it wouldn't go, you know? So like I was looking up in there. There's a fucking cheese puff in it. This little shit's been getting the munchies and sneaking in my damn kitchen. At this point, I just grab a book, you know what I mean? It was just like way less intimidating, but I'm still trying to think of like some badass shit to say, although like I don't really know what to say. Like, what am I supposed to say? Like, bang, like get educated, bitch. Like, what? That shit, like I sound like a college professor going through a midlife crisis. I walk in the living room, I don't see nobody, so I immediately start thinking the worst. Oh my God, this bitch is haunted. But then I hear it. Sure as shit, someone's knocking on my window. I'm like, who the hell knocking on my window? I look outside, man, there's a damn crackhead outside my house. I'm like, what the hell is this shittery? And then my gun just pops up out of nowhere. He's like, calm down, Bryce, this is one of my customers. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, I forgot to tell you, I sell crack. I'm a dirty pistol. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, how could you do this? And he's like, I didn't have a choice. I'm not registered. The last guy took my serial number. And that's why you should never purchase a firearm at the local flea market. I got in a fight with this little girl on the school bus one time. To be fair, I was being an asshole, but I wasn't trying to. Let me explain. At this point in my life, I was like 8th grade, 7th grade, somewhere in there. I was just trying to be cool in front of the high schoolers, you know, so they wouldn't bully me. I was real scrawny. I had the bowl cut, you know, my voice cracked. I'd get random boners in class. I was getting hard for education. I needed a form of guidance, okay? I figured that if I could befriend these older kids, I could learn from them. They could teach me how to do all these cool things, like sneaking into the school parking lot without a pass and banging white chicks in the back of their Nissan Altimas. I'll be honest with you guys, that was a bit of a stretch. I just need to know what lotion I can masturbate with without it burning when I pee after. Anyways, we pulled up to one of the bus stops and I noticed that somebody's dog had got hit in the road. Now, usually I'm not an asshole, but keep in mind, I'm trying to get cool points. What the fuck was that? I'm trying to get cool points with the older kids, all right? So I stand up, I'm like, damn, that dog got splattered. I said, is that dog Himalayan? Cause Himalayan in the street? Okay. You ever tell a joke so bad that not only does it fall flat, but the people you told it to start giving you a parental lecture after? Yeah, that didn't happen. I rocked the bus. They was tossing roses at my feet, handing out tips. Bus driver threw her panties at me. And then I heard the most animalistic scream I've ever heard in my life. It scared the shit out of me. Sounded like someone was giving birth while being waterboarded. It was crazy. I look up and it's like the 7-year-old girl at the front of the bus. Turns out it was her dog that just got hit. She was going berserk, cussing me out, trying to get to the back, acting just like a gremlin. I said, boy, if somebody don't come pour some sunlight on this bitch. She never came back there though. She was more worried about the dog, checking on it, thankfully, you know. It was actually kind of funny because turns out the dog wasn't even dead. The dog was just suntanning. He was perfectly fine. Little girl did get hit by a car trying to run out there and check on him though. I meant to stop by the funeral home the other night, but I got distracted. I was out on a date with my dad. Never really excited me, you know. I'm from the South, you know. I grew up watching crackheads and cowboys fighting all my life. Hell, I see a Daryl Dixon every time I go to Dollar General. He actually works there, you know. He's usually the one sitting outside the entrance smoking a Winston in the squatter position. I see zombies at the Dollar General all the time too. They don't bite though. They do things like, I don't know, ask to borrow $5 after taking a shit behind your car. I don't know, stupid shit like that. That's what made Breaking Bad such a good show. You know what I mean? Walter White. We don't have any Walter Whites around here. We got hella Jesse Pinkmans though. You got a Jesse Pinkman in every trailer park in the South, more so than tornadoes and polyester. You can find a Jesse Pinkman outside of any Circle K posted by the Red Box. You can buy a movie and a sack. Next thing you know, you're high, disoriented, posting misleading reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, and convincing people like me that Madam Web was actually worth going out and watching. You sick sons of bitches. Me and my old lady saw the trailer for that movie. She was like, yeah, we're gonna wait for the DVD. I said, shit, we're gonna wait for the fucking cassette on this one. If my life was a TV show, it would be Game of Thrones. Eventually, I'm gonna let you down, but we're gonna have a great time. I babysit my girlfriend's kid. Not my girlfriend, a friend that was a girl, you know, that, you know, I was trying to sleep with. What, y'all thought I was watching that kid out of the goodness of my heart? She always wanted me to watch her kid overnight, you know, because that's the only time she ever came out. I don't know why. Maybe the bitch was a roach or something. It's not my right to judge. Babysitting really isn't all that bad, though. You know, you just got to take the time to learn them. You know, you got to figure them out. They ain't too hard. For instance, the first night I panicked, you know, kid broke out into a seizure. I freaked the fuck. I called her up. I said, your kid's having this. She's like, calm down. It's just the nicotine withdrawals. Baby don't take a bottle unless it's got a piercing in the nipple. You know, we built this pillow for it, you know, just had a blast, you know, so much better than the drywall holes he's accustomed to at the house. I'm gonna be honest, after a little while, I started feeling bad for this baby. Felt like I might need to get involved, tell somebody. So I called them Ronald McDonald people down there. All they did was send me a coupon for a double quarter pounder. I traded it for a gram. I got the gram from the baby. It's actually some really good stuff. He's actually my dealer now. I miss being a kid sometimes, you know, no responsibilities and candy corn. Them strawberry candies at your granny's house with a fillet. Oh, shit, man. Now I got responsibilities. I got fucking taxes, bills, AARP and shit like that. Oh yeah, it wasn't even a baby either. It was some Guatemalan dwarf man or some shit like that.